of us, we were recording things about ourselves that we wanted to last. Cave paintings turned to alphabets, alphabets to sentences, and soon sentences became memoirs. We started journaling things about ourselves. Personal history books, written for no one, that accidentally reveal something about everyone. I remember the first time I opened up Dan Eldon's journals. They were funny and clever and fun. They were profound, political, thought-provoking, inspiring, sexy, sometimes dark and somber, but always adventurous. And after looking through the pages, I remember the feeling that somehow I would never be the same. And I wasn't.
And how can you be after seeing such? Cape Town has always been known as South Africa's undisputed filmmaking capital. Well, things that may be changing with Durban fast making its impression, and then Johannesburg determined, of course, not to be left behind. Confirming Joburg's a special place in the cinematic landscape is US filmmaker Kathy Eldon, who landed here on Sunday to shoot a film on her movie that is based on her son, a photographic journalist who was killed in the Somalian conflict 2 decades ago. Trust me, this is such an intriguing story. And if I had heard it from somebody else, I wouldn't believe it. But very good morning to you, Kathy. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thrilled.
I mean, this story just proves that fact is stranger than fiction sometimes. Will you just bring us up to speed with why you're here in Johannesburg? Tie it all up for us.
All right. In 1993, there was a terrible conflict in Somalia. There were journalists who were brought in to initially cover the famine in Somalia. And my son actually was the first person in to shoot the famine. And he stayed on with Reuters news agency. He was 21 years old. So he discovered the power of media to really tell stories and ignite action. Sadly, on July 12th, 1993, there was this terrible bombing, and 4 journalists were killed as a result of it. They were brought to the site of this disaster and started filming, and the people were so enraged with what had happened that they struck and killed the journalists, struck out and killed the journalists. So out of that horror, I decided I had to do something positive, and we did a film called Dying to Tell the Story, which was an actual documentary about journalists at risk. But I wanted to do more, because documentaries are seen by a certain number of people, but we really wanted to make a feature film. It has taken me 22 years to realize this dream of telling a story about journalists at risk, and also about a pack of young teens who went on a rescue aid mission to Malawi when they were in high school, and Dan helped lead that mission. So it's, first of all, the kids on safari, everyone a different color, different race, going to lead to the aid mission, and then Dan going on and becoming a photojournalist.
Dan was absolutely amazing by the looks of things. I mean, if you get accolades from your peers and people who say, I became a journalist mainly based on the work that you do, which is that clip that we saw there, that's absolutely remarkable. Talk to us about why he became a journalist. I believe he followed after your footsteps.
Yeah, I was a journalist in Kenya.
Yeah.
We moved there when I was a young mum, and I had a 7-year-old and a 3-year-old. And Dan just started trailing along behind me and taking photographs. And then he started keeping journals. And I brought along The Journey as a Destination, which is a collection of journal pages, and it's based on the photographs that he took while he was trailing along behind me, but turned into these lovely journal pages. And this book, which is available, it was big in South Africa when it came out, has actually sold so many copies and inspired a lot of people to just do more with their lives, get off their backsides and do something that matters, not only for themselves, but also for others.
What are you hoping to achieve with this movie?
I want to ignite action. I think too often now in the world we are settling for the life that's around us, but there's a lot that needs to be done in this world. We've started a foundation called Creative Visions Foundation, dedicated to celebrating creative activists, people who are using that creative spark within to do something good. We focus on art, music, dance, drama, film, journalism, people like you, to try to support people who are telling stories that need to be told about problems that need to be solved.
And who can access that avenue, that outlet to express themselves? I mean, someone is sitting at home and probably getting a bit of a spark going off, thinking, that's me, that's what I want to do. Who are you targeting here, and how can they access those services?
Every human being has that spark. Everybody has the capability to tell a story, to do something, to take action, to care about those around us. We would recommend people to just get out there, find an issue that turns you on, that excites you, that makes you want to live more in the morning, and tell the story about what's happening. Use your iPhone, use your just use your camera, post it on Facebook, create a campaign. Whatever you can do, begin it now. There's a Goethe quote, whatever you can do or believe you can do, begin it now. Genius has boldness, power, and magic. Begin it now.
Oh, I love that. You're going to have to repeat that for me a little bit later. But speak to us about your ties to South Africa. Off air, you said to me briefly, you know, my son was very much African in the way that he lived his life, and he related strongly to the continent. But speak to us about your ties to South Africa in particular.
Thank you. Kwaku Mandela actually says this film is about to show that the color of your skin has nothing to do whether you're African or not. But I came here in 1963. I was a very young kid in Iowa, middle of America, sent on a foreign exchange student program, American Field Service, and I landed in Bloemfontein, and I was sent to the Oranje Christelijk Nasionale Meisie School.
Oh my goodness, and you pronounce that so well! Wonderful pronunciation, yeah.
But I actually had to dive in and literally go to school in Afrikaans 3 weeks after I found out I was going to South Africa. So it was a total immersion into a completely different culture in the middle of apartheid.
And a very, very dark time for us at that time as well.
But I was blessed because we were with Bram Fischer's brother. I was staying with Paul Fischer's family in Bloemfontein. Our phones were tapped. It was really kind of scary for me. I mean, I didn't know it was scary, but they certainly knew that it was a threatened situation. So I was so privileged to meet Bram Fischer. And then later, Kwaku Mandela, when I met him, I learned for sure that Bram had a strong role to play in saving his grandfather's life in the Rivonia trial.
So now let's talk about the movie that you're filming. Talk to us about dates and times and when this all happens.
Right, okay. Yesterday I visited the Out of Africa film production studio. It's amazing. 2 floors of props and people are bustling around. They're off on a recce today, which is very exciting. Our actor, Ben Schnetzer, flies in today to play my son, and I'm going to meet him tonight, which I'm very excited about. The actor Ella Purnell is flying in, who plays my daughter tomorrow, and then somebody's actually playing me, which is going to be really weird.
Yeah, you're going to have to give that one a very, very strict checklist. Let's see the smile.
She's way prettier. This is good.
I doubt that's
possible.
All that
matters.
I doubt that's possible.
No, she's a phenomenal actress.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the most surreal experience to see your life up on the walls of a production company. Yeah. But it's not about us. It's not about Dan. It's about energy. It's about the belief, honestly, that kids can make a difference in the world. And we all can. That's why I'm doing this. It's not about Dan. Way beyond that.
When do we expect to see it on our big screen?
Oh, tune in for sure. I want to do a big premiere here, of course. Will be late 2016, early 2017.
I will be so upset if you don't invite Morning Live to that premiere. So I have it live on air, on record. You better stick to your word. We can't wait for that. And I think it's lovely that you're using your son as, for lack of a better word, this case study, that all of us have a role to play in this world and we all have a difference to make. And it's absolutely remarkable. Any parting words from you just to our viewers, perhaps someone who's sitting at home facing very difficult situations, because some of them who are there this time are unemployed, they're out of work, perhaps they dropped out of school for one reason or another. What would you like to leave them with?
Several things. I did a book called In the Heart of Life, which is really my ups and downs, and believe me, there have been downs that are downer than I can possibly even want to talk about. But that tells about transforming your life. Check out daneldon.org, see how this young boy did what he did, but never give up, never give in. Winston Churchill, never, never, never. You can turn things around, but it is about an attitude. It's about a positive mental attitude, and it's hard sometimes. We have to make believe we're brave often, and the trick will take you far from the king and I. But do not give up. Go for your dreams, create a vision, and live it.
Love it. And I think attitude is something that you are displaying perfectly because, you know, from turning this tragedy of losing your son, which I can't think of a fate worse than that, and being able to use that memory for the better, to inspire, to touch, to save lives. That is absolutely remarkable. Thank you ever so much. And we look forward to that movie. Indeed. Kathy Eldon coming to us and talking to us about that movie. And we'll be sure to bring you the very latest information as and when it develops. We have, however, come to the end of the show. Unfortunately, all good things have to come to an end.